Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first match of the quarterfinals round of the winner's circle. My name is Gammy Crayola. Joining me in the commentary booth is the lovely Rosie. Rosie, how are you doing?
I'm good, and I'm excited to see this pool played. And these are good players to see it played on. Actually, I think they'll pick a good range of maps, and we'll see a fairly decent range of skill sets.
I guess while we are sort of, getting all the players accustomed into the lobby, I would like to introduce the two players that we have for us today. We have, on one end, we have squarem from Poland, and on the other, we have Endura from Russia. I think these two players are very, very tenured in the tournament scene. I believe having a very, very strong presence in the 5-digit scene before, graduating to the higher rank ranges, 4-digit rank range. I believe squarem has quite a huge achievement built. Of course, their first performance or their first badge being the WC2025 winner, first place badge. But moving forward, they have secured a very moving forward. You have Raw, you have 5THC, and you have HRT. Overall, squarem, despite being squarem is like sort of that player who's the epitome of too good for the rank range. This man has so many accomplishments under his belt, despite being rank wise a lot lower than that of Endura. And moving over to Endura, Endura having one badge, being the Berlin draft winning, being part of the Berlin draft winning team, and overall just being a very, very strong player for Team Russia in all of the iterations of the World Cup. I think this is going to be a very, very exciting match, more so in particular because we are looking at these two players in terms of skill set. And I think they are honestly very, very similar. We are going to start to see, perhaps some mod preferences, perhaps some skill set preferences between these two players. And as we move into, the middling SRs of the tournament, we might start to see, some preferences outshine some preferences of each player outshine the other. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to see. But Rosie, take us away to the ban phase. I believe we are gonna start to see our first few bans coming in from both players.
Yeah, these bans really do make sense. You have the DT2 ban coming out from squarem now. Endura is a very good tapping player, so that makes a lot of sense. I feel like that would have been one of their first picks coming out, as well as squarem being pretty good at these overall technical maps. So that makes a lot of sense to be banned by Endura, and I think Nomad 6 the precision, not too sure about that one. Squarem does play Hard Rock, but the map could just be, I mean, it's CS10. I think I would ban it too. But there goes our other precision map, Hard Rock 2.
Okay, so both players really just want to stay far away from the precision pool as much as possible. Definitely, given the more RNG nature of these maps, could definitely be a optimal, it could definitely be a strategy that these two players want to adopt, just outright avoiding it as much as possible. But we are going to see the first pick coming out from Endura, and it's going to be No More 5, certified banger to kickstart it all. It's going to be free L Town. This is a 232 BPM speed map, if I'm not mistaken. And overall, this is as cookie cutter of a speed map as you can get.
I think, well, DT2 was banned, so this is the next best map for Endura to pick. Start off strong with something that they can play well. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, then, like, very, very confidently going into the same skill set genre as your opponent's pick. You're confident that, that's the most amount of ground that you can get. And it's really about these little spikes in proficiency in the skill set that you have over your opponent in a matchup like this, which is gonna make a difference. But ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into free L Town, No More 5.
SpongeBob Square Wave, what a name.
I love No More 5. We start off all early days in the map, most of the final burst, 3-note burst really coming to greet these players, but as of right now, it's gonna be a standstill until we see the first miss. Of course, Endura being the player who picked this map, as expectedly so, getting that SS, getting that now not SS, but very, very high accuracy on the board to kickstart the map. But of course, it will only matter when the first break happens. This map comes in at 3 minutes and 30 seconds long, so there's definitely a lot of room for error, and these players need to constantly be on their toes, as it looks like we're gonna be moving into our first burst heavy section.
It's not like squarem is bad at tapping. I think it's just gonna be who loses stamina first, which most likely will be squarem.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I mean, it's about you know, the comfort that you have on this AI and on this BPM, pardon me, and that little bit more stamina that Endura might have over squarem might be the determining factor, especially as we're going to this very, very triple 5-note burst heavy section that can really shred your tapping if you're not ready for it. But as of right now, squarem is honestly doing a very good job equalizing the accuracy lead, maintaining that 98.3% throughout the map. Meanwhile, Endura has fallen a bit short, you know, making that scoreline a bit close. And as Endura finds the miss, that is going to be devastating to the score lead as it immediately shifts towards squarem. The scoreboard opens and he knows he has it in his hands.
I think that was miss aim too. Getting gapped on the aim and the tapping one.
Something tapping players, I believe, are all too familiar with, and truly unfortunate if you are in Endura's position. They, you know, found that miss and immediately lost their composure. Just a bunch of cursor flicking came afterwards, and that really is the nature of a very, very tapping, very energy intensive map such as this one. And as squarem moving into the last quarter in peak condition, I mean, I don't think there's anything Endura can do. That miss being the final nail in the coffin.
Oh my god, what a play by squarem to start off the match. They're dropping Ack a little at the end, kids. They're hitting stuff. Oh no!
Oh! Yep. Finally misses at the end of the map, but that doesn't detract from how incredible that score was. And what a way to win a first point, right? On your opponent's pick, decisively in a 335k score lead. That is just incredible. Squarem, momentum is on his side moving into this matchup.
What it was speed. That's crazy. Damn, they're just flexing.
And
you know
Rosie, I think, yeah, go for it, go for it.
I mean, they're just flexing on them, but fair play, they did just win the first pick. They banned the DT2 against them as well, and they managed to win the number 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier on, right, Rosie, where it was these players very, very equal in terms of skill set, and it could just be a slight slip up that causes the scoreboard to shift completely out of proportion. Yeah. And, you know, despite the scoreline being very, very big, or very, 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 very big in that number 5, at the end of the day, it's important to remember that both these players are very evenly matched, and, you know, Endura might have just, you know, been thrust completely out of position once that miss came. But squarem instantly responds from that, you know, very mechanics heavy pick to probably the most control heavy pick in this pool. It's gonna be Hidden 3. Now it's gonna be interesting to see whether these players can shift their sort of mindset, shift their method of aiming going into this number 3, which involves a lot of this free flow mapping style.
Yeah, I would say squarem is actually a little bit more confident on Hidden than Endura. I think Endura plays Hidden with other mods like Hard Rock and DT. They don't really play it on its own.
That's right. It's gonna be early days right now. Players sort of getting accustomed to the map. Endura finding an early miss, but shouldn't matter too much as squarem does trade it up. Now the score lead is in Endura's hands. And we are not in the KI yet, but that's it. This map is very consistent in its skill set testing. I mean, it's just these flow aim patterns through and through. But we get into the KI. This is where the flow aim, the snap aim becomes so much more pronounced. And Endura finds that miss. And now the score line is back in squarem's hands. It's just going left and right as we move into the second half of the KI.
Yeah, squarem is usually pretty good at this kind of thing. Oh, my bad, sorry.
Bancho, however, Bancho. That was a real one though, but it was a trade between the two players. I think despite you know all the back and forth during that KI, scoreline is still relatively close, only coming in at 25k. So as we move into the second third of the map, there is definitely room for improvement in terms of the score lead in favor of either side of the board. It's really gonna be determined on how these players can build up that combo during this more calm section, but you know it's by no means easy whatsoever. Endura finding that unlucky miss, giving squarem more room to breathe. Yeah, as of right now, squarem really putting a strong show of dominance. 500 combo and counting, the largest that we've seen thus far in this map. And Endura finding that miss. That's really not what you want to see. Moving into the second half, squarem hits all of that flow-in. Second half of the flow-in. How long will he be able to prolong the score lead? Squarem's just completely demolishing this map, and the patterns that just go in on each other. Squarem's just eating all of it. 700 combo and counting. Endura trips and falls, but nothing is phasing this man. Moving into the last third of the map. What can stop this guy?
Yeah, this is a really nice performance. Oh, Endura.
Oh my goodness. And I mean, if you're an Endura in this position, what can you even do? Your opponent's just pulling out absolute masterclasses after masterclass on this map. I mean, it is just curtains right now. There is no form of combo that Endura can amass to make this comeback as of this juncture. And as the map finally cools down, squarem has made it out of the storm. 1100 combo and counting in squarem's hands right now. What a performance.
Wow,
Oh
they
my
were messing
goodness.
around on this.
They
Nice
were not
match.
messing around. I mean, as we get into the last few seconds of the map, we are just gonna see how far squarem can take it. I mean, it's obviously not gonna be an FC, but it's going to be a very, very impressive score nonetheless. And as the last few flowing sections come in the map, squarem will be walking away with a 650k on this map, a 411k score lead over Endura. What a performance from squarem. As I said before, the momentum is in his hands. He is not messing around going into this matchup, and he is going in for blood.
That's a crazy nice score, wow. I think definitely picking into the hidden pool on future picks. Oh, but they're going with DT3, gonna try speed again.
Right, because, and I think, Rosie, this is where things get honestly a bit concerning for Endura. You already had, you know, Nomad 5 being as contested as it is, in fact, going to squarem 0.1. And meanwhile, seeing how Endura continues to go into the DT3, it makes me start to believe that, you know, Endura doesn't really have a lot of, you know, those comfort picks over squarem. Honestly, it's rather concerning. And Endura definitely needs to win this pick if, you know, they don't want that scoreline to skyrocket in favor of squarem that quick. Of course, the momentum already comfortably in the hands of squarem. Endura needs whatever point they can get. And if this DT3 is the way to get it, then, I mean, be my guess. At the same time, right, squarem did go for the DT2 ban, so this pick definitely makes a lot of sense, but it's a whole different meta. Perhaps the higher skill cap is what the higher BPM is what Endura is playing for in this DT3,
Yeah,
but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
Squarem said the DT5 was not a speed map, and that was 235, I want to say.
232.
Yeah. So we'll see how they do on 275.
Yes, ma'am. We'll definitely be seeing a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of bursts, of course. There's going to be a shorter amount of bursts in the No Mod 5 given the higher BPM, slightly more simplistic aim throughout the map. But honestly, those small aim sections might just be an absolute nightmare for these players, especially when your adrenaline is up on the DT3 and we get into the more flowing heavy sections. 5-no burst still coming in, but none of these players seem to be phased starting out on this map. squarem gonna hold that early accuracy lead, but that can shift at any second. Oh!
Endura with the slider break.
Yeah, that's gonna be very, very rough. This is a relatively short, I mean, I wouldn't say that much shorter map, 3 minutes long, but that score lead in squarem is definitely going to be very, very important. DTs are where you can build your combo up the fastest, and you really don't want to let your combo slip to your opponent's hands as much as possible, and in a map as intense as this one. A bit of a slow section for these players to, you know, sort of rest and recuperate, prepare for the next KI. And we are in the second quarter. Second half, pardon me.
squarem definitely improving on skills that they were a little bit weaker on in the past. Seems like they've gotten a lot better at speed.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, as of right now, I mean, we are in the last third of the map, and squarem is decisively leading against Endura on his very own pick. No more No Mod 5 shenanigans. Nah, squarem's just gonna take it all the way right now. Last quarter of the map. 1.1k combo and counting. But they finally miss in these simple overlap 5-node stacks. And now this is Endura's time to make that comeback. That scoreline is decreasing, and it is decreasing rapidly. But the question is there gonna be enough time? Endura and squarem race towards the finish. 1k score lead separates these two players. Last eighth of the map. The flow aim comes in. Endura was stripped out of this section in the beginning of the map. Will he let that overcome him? Or will he able to take the throne and take this point once again? 50k, it's the...
Oh
my goodness. Oh, that is just unfortunate for Endura. squarem just managing to ease out that point through the skin of his teeth on that pick.
If they slide or broke again near the end, that would have been Endura's point. Both with an S rank though. Holy scores. They have almost the same combo too. Yeah.
It really was just the placement of the misses, and that's just so unfortunate.
Damn. So close.
LC is a combo game, what can I say? And at this juncture, what can Endura even go for, you know? You've only shown your speed picks, or you've only decided to play on speed this entire match, and you've just completely fallen short on all of them. It's really looking rough for Endura to play. They definitely need, I think, to move into the more aim-heavy pool. You know, maybe go for a hard drop here and there, because he needs to switch things up at this juncture. Because what he's doing right now is just not working, and squarem is just beating down on his neck constantly. And now we're moving into the hidden one, playing into the hidden weakness from Endura, or, you know, squarem's increased proficiency at hidden over Endura.
Yeah, this is definitely a smart pick from them. They even have the hidden 2 to go in it too if they want to, but I don't think both players are that confident on LeFerraille, so probably will be avoiding that. If I remember correct, LeFerraille is both of their most weak skills.
Oh my goodness, I love high rank 3. Nobody plays gimmick.
I think they can, like, if they're in a team, they can go in as a 4th, but I don't think they're, like, choosing to play it, you know?
Forced to fail, you know.
Yeah.
But Rosie, I think this is a phenomenal pick, as you mentioned before. This is a 240 BPM map, and as squarem just exemplified his comfort on 235, 235 stamina even in the No Mod 5. You're going into a hidden pick on a BPM that you are well-rounded and you're comfortable in, and you're warmed up for most particularly. So squarem really has the confidence going into this pick. Phenomenal pick from squarem, and you love to see it. Definitely going into this matchup or going into this map as the favorite.
Ooh, a little bit rough on the act at the start for Endura.
This is a very awkward hidden one, if I'm right to comment. It tests a lot of aim agility, pardon me. A lot of weird angles, a lot of awkward aim coming to meet these players. Not to mention, of course, the 240 BPM that's constantly looming over these players' backs. Both players do trade early on, and you know, that's just a sneak peek of what's to come moving forward in this map.
Oh, they both break again. It's pretty close. Oh! The square pattern catching Endura.
That's right. I think the one thing that a lot of players don't realize about this map is just how nervous a lot of these patterns make you feel. They're very, very high BPM, and when we get into, you know, a section where you can't single tap like the squares that we saw before, it's very, very taxing on your aim. Your aim needs to be spot on, and with the hidden as well, your, you know, overall confidence, your overall consistency on these circles are going to be neutered. However, squarem does find a miss, giving Endura some space to breathe, and for what it's worth, second quarter, and we are only 20k apart in terms of score lead, and we're getting into a more, you know, spacing heavy section. A few 3-note bursts as well kicked into the mix to trip these players up when it comes to that stamina, when it comes to that finger control. But as of right now, it doesn't seem to be shaking anyone.
I think squarem has the full ult buff on this.
That's right.
Hell yeah. Love to see it.
People really talk about full ult. Oh, Endura finds a miss as I'm beginning to talk. People always talk about full ult being, you know, solve these lower BPM maps at 150, but, you know, it's on these kinds of maps where ulting becomes a real challenge. Really, it's too fast. The single notes or the single jumps are too fast for you to single tap, and if you're not accustomed to, you know, single tapping on jumps, or ulting on jumps, pardon me, this map can really prove to be a challenge, as we've seen the single jumps trip out Endura time and time again on a map like this. Last third of the map left, and squarem, I mean 600 combo and counting, completely uncontested. And we're getting into the tapping heavy section, and squarem finally misses on the bus slider. But I mean, the ag lead, the combo lead was in squarem's favor. And it's looking very, very difficult for Endura to make this comeback. The window of opportunity is closing and closing, and it is closing quick.
I think they're gonna have to hit the rest of the map if they want to bring this over to their side, and I think they're gonna want to see squarem break as well. I don't think there's enough time on their own.
Yeah, we need to see a miss from squarem happen, and needs to happen now for any sort of progress to be made. But we're in the last eighth of the map, and the map is cooling down. I don't think squarem is gonna be giving Endura that leniency in this matchup. Really going for blood. Final KI. And I think both players will be holding it. Endura unfortunately finds that miss on the last square, but it does not matter. Ladies and gentlemen, squarem will be taking this match 0.
Oh. 4 in a row. That's really nice for them, but it's looking a little bit rough for Endura. I think maybe just not performing to their best ability today.
I think it's about the consistency that squarem exudes in this matchup. You know,
Yeah.
coming out of that No Mod 5 initially, right? squarem has just been constantly hitting, and it's these sort of, you know, consistent wins in your matchup, consistent decisive wins, might I add, in your matchup that, you know, compounds constantly. And as we are, you know, comfortably in the midway section of this match, squarem has exemplified complete and total dominance and complete and total control over this entire match. And it's gonna be very hard for Endura to bring it back at this juncture. especially given how Endura really needs to play on a different playing field in terms of skill set.
They could probably go with the Nomad too. Oh, they're gonna go with the harder corner.
Yep. I mean, I called a Hard Rock 1 pick initially, and I definitely think this makes the most sense. The DT pools have been completely fried for you. The speed pools have been completely fried for you. Not just in Nomad 5 DT3, but in your Hidden 1 as well, as we've just seen. So, Endura really wanting to play away from the play away from the speed and move into a more aim-heavy pick.
We'll see how this goes. I mean, I think squarem is a very confident aim player, so could potentially end up like the other two picks, but we'll see. Hopefully they're able to get a point on the board.
Yeah, we're moving into a certified hook class. It's gonna be Ocarina Sai. This map is very, very consistency heavy. It features a lot of, you know, your bread and butter cookie cutter jumps. But of course, this map is 4 minutes and 30 seconds long. I believe one of the longest, if not the longest map in the pool. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rosie. But yeah, this is going to be a war of attrition, a war of tenacity between these two players. So yeah, it's definitely going to be up to who can get that consistent combo on the board. And I honestly think this is a very, very good neutral pick for Endura, right? It's not a skill set that both of these players are totally unfamiliar with. Endura's not trying to outplay squarem in terms of, you know, their picks. Really just trying to outplay squarem in their fundamentals, in their ability to hold that focus. But I mean, going into this matchup, of course, it's very difficult considering squarem has that consistent front. They've been exemplifying consistency, not to mention the confidence that they have in this juncture of the match. But we're gonna have to wait and see. This point is very, very crucial, I think, for Endura, and they really need to put this point on the board before, you know, squarem does squarem things and takes this match 5-0 match point. Yep, it's Hard Rock 1.
I think just need to re-download the map from you before. I just didn't want to load it for some reason.
Yep, we're having some stream issues unfortunately, but hopefully we should be right to the map very, very soon. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of them, I was gonna say, Rosie, so we probably won't be missing too much. But yeah, the good luck, have fun are coming in chat. It just looks like our Bancho unfortunately is being a bit stubborn today.
Doesn't want to load it.
Yeah, it really doesn't want to load it.
Did it have a recent upload or a recent change? Let me see. No, I don't think it's anything to do with the song. No, it should be fine. It's loved.
Perhaps it's a download issue. Yeah, it's probably a download issue.
Not sure why. Just try it, delete it and re-download it, I guess. Unless you already did, then.
Maybe you can try dragging the Hard Rock 1 into your songs folder on your Tony client. I think that might. Oh my days. Alright. Hopefully. Yep.
I love tournament client.
Yeah, we're currently talking to our streamer on the ground. Apparently there is some download issue here and there, so hopefully we can get that sorted very, very soon. Yeah, looks like we're trying to re-download the resources, re-download the map. Hopefully everything should be underway soon. But I'm gonna use this moment, take a quick water break. I mean, I think the players as well, or the viewers as well, should Just grab your popcorn, grab your chips. We are going to be dealing with it as we speak. Alright, it looks like the players are back in the lobby, and I mean, I'm sure it was a intense battle before Endura found that miss, but it looks like squarem has managed to emerge victorious in the last quarter of the map, last eighth of the map, still holding that SC. I mean, squarem in true squarem fashion, consistent as ever, unshakable as ever. And last eighth of the map, I mean, they are looking to take this match to match point.
Yeah, they just don't want to miss. It's crazy.
Really, it's all about, you know, that momentum that they've generated. Squarem is a very, very scary player when you give him that confidence, when you give him that peace of mind to just do whatever the fuck he wants, and he is just taking it all the way. I mean, the client might be having issues, but I mean, it's clear as day. Squarem will be taking this match to match point.
Already? I thought this was going to be really back and forth, a very close match.
That is honestly very unfortunate for Endura in this situation. Really, all their options have been exhausted. They tried the speed, they've tried the hard drop, and now it's Squarem's pick. It's Squarem's point for the taking. If I had to guess, I think Squarem would definitely pick more into the control skill set at this juncture, and that is what we are gonna see in the DT4. I believe this is speed alt, correct me if I'm wrong, Rosie?
What happened? DT4?
Yeah, DT4.
I don't know if this is a speed map. I think this is alt on DT, so it's gonna be... I don't think this is speed.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
speed
not.
alt.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess
speed alt.
Speed alt, if that is a skill. Yeah.
Funky skill set, chat.
It's just like a DT4.
If
I
you
don't know.
think, Rosie, if you think about it right, 300 BPM is still alt, you know? Like, yeah, like, exactly, guys.
It's just alt.
Think about it, guys. Think about it. But anyways, we're gonna be jumping into Otona Blue. This is a certified hook classic once again with DT slapped on it. Really, it's going to be tested. I think Squarem finally, you know, on the back foot, letting Endura pick all the speed picks throughout this matchup. Finally decides, you know, hey, I've been winning on all these speed picks. Why don't I pick one myself? And we are going into Otona Blue with, I believe, Squarem's full confidence that they'll be able to make the difference in this match.
Hopefully, Endura can get a point here, but I don't know if that alt skill is very strong, if I'm honest. I think they struggle a little bit on alt.
I mean, this map is a very, very good culmination of what Squarem has been leading up to this match, right? The hidden 3, the no mod 3 pick. So this DT4 pick being a mix of, you know, not just the alt that he's been warming up, getting comfortable with in the earlier stages of the map, but also the speed, the high mechanics, the high BPM that he has constantly exemplified competency in through, you know, oh my goodness, through Endura's picks. So definitely makes a lot of sense. And as we jump into Otona Blue, we're getting straight into the action. All about these high BPM flow aim patterns. I mean, nothing much more to say. Yep. One can only hope that Endura can begin to make this comeback. And as of right now, Endura is holding the score lead, but unfortunately does find a miss once again to the slow section. This is a very, very short map, so it is crucial that these players maintain their combos. Because, I mean, on a map as dense as this, it's very easy to find misses, but it's equally easy to find that combo. squarem finds a miss as well, so does Endura earlier on. And we are going already in the last third of the map. It is so intense at this juncture. 9k separates these two players. Last third of the map. These players see the scoreboard, they know how close it is, but I highly doubt they're letting it get to their hits. These breaks are too short to even count at all. Endura does find a miss, and squarem is now in the lead. 30k, 40k, just widening the gap by the second. Last quarter of the map, nothing Endura can do. squarem finally finds the miss, but I think it is too late for Endura to make this comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, Endura is walking into the slaughterhouse with squarem as the executioner. What a performance from squarem in this matchup. 6-0, complete sweep. That is a complete and utter show of dominance from squarem in this matchup. Holy.
I really thought their weaker skills were gonna be speed and high AR against Endura, but they just played them like they were their skill set. I don't know.
Oh my goodness, squarem. I think really it's just that higher level of skill cap from squarem. Despite, you know, being slightly weaker when it comes to speed, squarem's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take your skill set, I'm gonna dominate you with it. And so it is just clear as day that going into this matchup, squarem coming in with full confidence, played his heart out, and it showed in not just the score leads across all the maps, but the point lead in favor of squarem. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to squarem for such a complete and utterly stunning performance throughout that match. And of course, shoutouts to Endura for making it as close as it was. You know, the tapping picks on here and there, really giving squarem a run for his money. But when it comes to the consistency, I think squarem is a very, very tough player to beat. Yeah. Rosie, do you have any closing words?
I know that there is another match at 16 UTC later today, which I will be streaming. That is gonna be between, let me look. It's gonna be between Cooked and PS Blank. So
PS Blank matchup, chat. Singapore represent. You love to see it.
Yeah, I think that's all really for me.
Yep. Thank you so much, Rosie, for joining me in the commentary booth today, as well as Cropix for being our lovely streamer for this matchup. Thank you to everybody in the commentary booth. Thank you to everybody supporting the stream right now. And of course, do show up if you want to watch Crooks versus GS Blank at 16 UTC. But until then, my name has been Gammy Crayola. This has been the Winner's Circle, and we will see you in a few hours. Goodbye.